Hello and a warm welcome to Conny Decorates today, and of course we do it with heart and passion.
With heart, but not literally. Do have a camera here.
Exactly. So in summer, of course, we're out in the garden, and today we're making our summery lantern using really simple natural materials from the garden, a bit of recycled fabric and a few seashells. But if you want to know how this summery lantern or this summer wreath is made, stay tuned because we're going to show you now. And these are the things we'll need today for our lantern or for our maritime wreath. So let's get started. I've taken an old wreath here. I've already removed some of the decorations from it. And what we definitely need today, a straw wreath base. Of course, I have that underneath here. Then we've cut a bit of grass. I've also taken some maritime items out of the shed. Here I have shells, snails and stones. I also have some rope here. I even have a bit of bird sand here, and back here you might be able to see it. I also have some snail shells and a bit of netting, so maritime fishing net. And that's all there is to it. Today I need a hot glue gun, and not to forget the egg white from one egg. I have it in here, and a brush. And as I said, that's all we need. And of course, not to forget the glass. I'll just go and get that out in a moment. I had cleaned it up a bit. The lantern, which we'll of course put in here later, but we'll get that at the end. And I'd say let's get started. It's a bit windy today, but we thought we'd go outside anyway. And of course, we hope that doesn't bother you too much. Of course, there will be some wind noise again today, but it's so nice and dry that we decided to take you out into the garden with us. I'm going to start by removing my wire from the bottom here. I'm carefully snipping it all the way around here, making sure to At this point you can start to gently push the moss aside here, being careful not to damage any of the delicate roots underneath. If you prefer, you can also carefully take the wire out of the moss at this stage, if you like, making sure to do so slowly and gently. You have to do that anyway in order to separate it. Just set the moss aside. You can reuse it afterwards. That's always great. And you can then dispose of the wire. Now you need a sharp knife. So I'm taking the knife here, going into my straw wreath. And you know, at Easter we opened up a really big straw wreath like this, and we actually still have it on our living room table. I just took out some of the eggs, and it's so decorative. We also have succulents in it, and it's super long lasting and really looks fantastic. And that's why I thought we could do something similar, but with a maritime look. And here too I'm going to go right into the middle of the Roman and cut it open. Then I start to very carefully break open the Roman in the middle. You can also at this point just kind of, maybe you have a nice plate, or maybe you'll have to see a tray or whatever you want to place it on with. The large straw wreath we had, we used packaging material here, the shredded cardboard secured with floral pins. We're not going to do that this time, but if you have it, you could also use a nice felt fabric or something like that. You could also use jute, for example, by saying, okay, I'll cut it into small long strips, and you can also fix it here as a protective layer really well. And I think that's what I'll do this time as well. I'll just take a look, because I still have a leftover potato sack here. I'm just going to cut it into strips now. Namely my patent hairpins that I have. If you don't have any, you can easily shape some yourself using floral wire. Just make a U shape like this, and now I'll start by attaching my burlap fabric here. I'll just go into the lower area here. You don't need much at all, just fix it loosely. Then you'll have a really good solid base here. Just go in at the top end once more, then carefully insert it into the wreath down here, and it will already hold fantastically well. Now I've gone all the way around once. This is the second piece of fabric now. I'll just secure that nicely as well. And then I noticed, before we end up doubling up here, I'll take the remaining fabric straight to the inside, secure it here once more, and then I'll go through here and can also fix the fabric inside here again. First of all, the fabric is a pretty good protection if you want to place it on a table or something like that, but it also serves as a really cool base if you want to glue something on like shells or snails, because it gives you really good adhesion here as well. So now I have the third piece of fabric, and I'm just going to gather it a bit and then nicely secure it on the inside here. It's tacked down, and now we take our grass, which we can also attach all around the wreath. What I really like, and I can't remember if we did this last year or the year before, is just making a loose grass knot. If you secure these in between, it adds a wonderful lush green touch. And just a tip, if you place this wreath somewhere shady, the green will last. It stays super lush and lasts a long time. For example, I had a grass wreath that I kept indoors, and it always stayed green and was really, really beautiful. Of course, if you keep them outside in the sun, they fade, no question about it, but you can see for yourself. It's also quite interesting when it eventually turns into hay. So the lush green turning into hay also looks very nice. Now I'm just going to make a few small grass knots and attach them to the wreath in a varied way. So the netting that I currently have with me is going to be used as a protective barrier, and my plan is to carefully place it in between all the different areas where it is needed. This means that I will be positioning the netting in every single spot where there is a gap or an opening that requires coverage, making sure that no space is left unprotected. The purpose of doing this is to ensure I also have a bit of blue and some of that natural colored material left. So I'll cut a few pieces of those and add them in between as well. All right, the hot glue wasn't hot yet. That means I'll first take my egg white and dab it on here a bit everywhere. Everywhere I want to have my sand, I'll carefully sprinkle a bit of sand onto the surface, making sure to cover the desired areas evenly, and then I'll fix it in place by gently brushing on some egg white, which will help the sand stick securely and stay exactly where I want it. Little tufts everywhere like that. We've put sand on it. Careful, the glue is hot. And now I'm making really nice little tufts with my shells here. It's best to do it wherever we have a bit of netting as well. And yes, now it's starting to look really beautifully maritime. Now I've brought the angular piece. I'm going to place it in here now. I think it looks really, really nice, also because of its shape, and it holds very, very well too. And now I want to add some to the lower area, still have a bit of bird sand here. I'd just like to pour a small layer of it in here now. And now I've taken this sturdy natural rope, which I always really like to use for decorating various things, and I've simply placed it right in the middle of the glass. Now I'd like to loosely and gently arrange it around here a bit, just to really bring out that beautiful maritime ocean-inspired look once again. And I'd really love to just drape it over here and let it softly fall down the side. I just need to see how well it holds. If you have an LED candle, you can place it in here perfectly and turn it on. Right now I have real wax candles here. Of course, if I have the rope up here, I wouldn't light them, but I think this works quite well, and I really like how it looks. But you don't have to. You can also just put in some shells or whatever you like, or even several candles. I just brought a few along here, and I think our maritime lantern is finished for today. And we're done. Once again, just using natural things, a few shells and a glass, a vase. Whatever you have can be added here wonderfully, and then you really have a great summery lantern made with just a few and very natural materials. A bit of tall grass, little sand and egg white, and voila. It makes us happy, so I'm looking forward to our new lantern. And you, Micha? I'm really looking forward to it too. Yes, it's actually a bit windy and a bit chilly, but it doesn't matter. So, dear friends, of course, we also hope that we were able to make you happy, maybe inspire you a little. Then, of course, we'd be happy if you give us a thumbs up. And if you're looking for decorative items, please check down below in the video description. You'll find the link to our website. And from there, you can go to Roof Orcas. With the code Conny20, you'll get an extra 20% off all decorative items in the online shop. So it's really worth it, I just have to say. The string lights to this rope string light would also be really great here. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore because I'm still using it in another decoration. But just take a look. So, dear ones, feel hugged. Stay very healthy. See you soon, your Conny and your Micha. Your Micha. Your Micha. Yeah, you can do that. Exactly. See you then, dear ones. Bye. Bye.